check.
This is a song I used to do a lot back in the day, and it kind of holds a place in my heart, so we're gonna do it.
Nova Online has recently been falling back into his old habits. About a week or so ago, Nova had posted a TikTok claiming that he wanted to take control of his body and, stop doing food reviews and instead have his content focused on his karaoke and his Pokemon card pack openings. However, as we've seen, the Ketchup Commander has had 2 back-to-back TikToks of him reviewing fast food. The first fast food review he posted was a food hack where he tried to replace one side of a sausage McMuffin with a McGriddle.
Alright, let's go ahead and start the swap process. Alright, so now we got McMuffin, cheese, sausage, and McGriddle bun. Those 2 textures do not work out.
Now, this attempt to make a food hack is pretty stupid in design. We all know that there's a massive textural difference between a pancake and an English muffin, and the fact that Nova thought this was going to be a good idea is pretty preposterous, given his, stature and his quite frequentness in McDonald's. Now, before I show y'all his second food review, I did want to give a short thanks to everyone who watched my recent Nova video. It gained some fantastic traction, and I just wanted to thank y'all because it means a lot, and I'll be posting more and more as the days continue, so stay tuned for that. But back to the subject at hand, Nova's second food review was on the illustrious Houston's Hot Chicken, and if you know anything about Nova, he was absolutely salivating over the opening of this restaurant. He had this shit booked in his calendar months in advance, and I'm sure like how the people have been waiting outside of GameStops for Pokemon cards recently, that's how Nova was at the front door of the Houston's Hot Chicken, ready to slam in his order.
We're trying more items from Houston, Texas Hot Chicken. Now we're gonna try the tender and waffle combo. That might beat out Cade sauce. Needless to say, this house sauce is one of the best things I've ever put in my mouth. Easily 10 out of 10.
Something about the way that Nova eats that just kind of gives me the ick. He just straight gobbles it. And I saw a post from Solidus Nova about the comment where he says that the house sauce is one of the best things he's ever put in his mouth. And I'm like, come on, Nova. You can't be saying shit like that and not expect someone to poke fun at that. Nova has reviewed Houston's Hot Chicken already a few times since it's opened, and it seems like he's going for the whole menu takedown. He wants it all, it seems. Now, like I stated, Nova had made a video recently about how he wanted to focus on his health and stop posting food reviews because he's tired of the way he looks and he wants to make a change for the better. But eating like this is not going to help him at all. So I took the liberty of tallying up the calories that he consumed from his McDonald's meal from what he showed. So first we have the sausage egg McMuffin, and that's sitting at 480 calories. And then his McGriddle that he also probably ate afterwards is 430 calories. So that gives us a total of 920 calories for the breakfast if you include the 10 calories, give or take, for the hot tea. Now this is a lot, and these aren't good calories at all. And I'm not a health expert by any means, but these foods don't have the necessary nutrients and healthy fats to help lose weight. They're calorie dense, and also I'm not seeing any vegetables. And overall, not a fantastic option to help lose weight. Now I also wanted to log the Houston, Texas Hot Chicken, but on their website they didn't provide calories for anything, and I'm nowhere near any of them, so I have no idea how many calories. So if y'all know, just drop the total in the comments. Now, if Nova ever wants to escape the, suffocating feeling of being overweight, he's got to put in the work. He's got to hit the gym, he's got to eat right, and if he can't do this, he'll never see any progress. Now, moving on to something I saw yesterday on TikTok, it was a video of the ever so fabled milkman, and they dropped off 19 gallons of milk at Nova's house. Now, quick disclaimer, I don't think this is a good idea, and I'm not advocating for anyone to show up at Nova's house or any of these lolcows houses, so think about what you're doing before you do it, and don't end up getting yourself in trouble just for a viral video. However, I will comment on the sheer hilariousness of it. I could not imagine what this big doofus's reaction would have been to going out to his porch and seeing 19 gallons of milk. And y'all know one of my favorite pictures of Nova is him sucking down that half gallon of milk after eating some spicy pasta. But again, this idea isn't good in practice, and I'm sure y'all saw the one guy who went to Cyrax's house and clocked him in the head after a verbal confrontation, and I could generally see something like this happening with Nova. I feel like maybe if his day was bad enough that he would, start rumbling and tumbling towards a troll who showed up at his house, and it would end poorly for both sides. But besides that, I was sifting through some of Nova's recent TikToks, and I found another one where he said that he was going to start taking YouTube more seriously and posting a variety of different types of content, specifically on YouTube.
Hey all, it's Hey Nova Cat G. So just an FYI, I'm posting a lot more on YouTube now. I'm going to try and focus on posting more Pokemon card videos, and I'm also focusing on becoming more of a VR creator there. So If you want to check out my VR and Pokemon content, it'll all be over on my YouTube channel.
Now, this is pretty untrue. The TikTok I just showed you of Nova talking about his content was from June 18th, and since June 18th, Nova has posted exactly one Pokemon opening video, and he has streamed opening Pokemon one time. And then there's his VR content, which he claimed he was going to make, which he has had exactly 0 YouTube videos or streams about it. Now, Nova's getting really stale with what he's putting out, and I can only assume it's because he's getting 100,000 plus views on any video he makes on TikTok right now. And generally, it's boring content, like he's not doing much, but he's getting all of these views. And it's, you go into his comment section and you just see people absolutely flaming him or telling him to get a job or apply for a job, which then he gets angry, he rages and rants in the comment section saying, I'm getting a job, I'm applying for a job. But I still think it's pretty weird for Nova to keep promising certain kinds of content to just then devolve into his old ways. You got his shitty food reviews where he consumes a disgusting amount of calories. Then you also have his karaoke videos, which I don't know about y'all, but I physically cannot sit through one. It is ear piercing, deafening. I can't do it. Then there's his streaming, which recently it's just been a variety of different games that he sucks at with no face cam, and there's some nice raging that goes along with it, but overall it's really boring. But again, I'm not advocating that he does any of this content that he promises. I really don't give a shit what he posts. It's not going to garner him an audience of people who want to watch him every day to see, maybe he'll pull the Team Rockets Mewtwo or stay for the 4.5 minute karaoke video. The audience that watches Nova largely are there just to make fun of him, no matter what the content is. But here are some of Nova's recent YouTube stream rages, and I posted these on TikTok, but he's up to his usual bullshit, sending every person he sees in the chat who makes fun of him to Pound Town, which still to this day is weird. Like with all of Nova's allegations, the fact that he decides when he wants to ban someone, he sends them to Pound Town, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way, and I'm sure it does with other people too.
Send someone to Pound Town. I have to send another person to Pound Town. Okay, this person is clearly trolling. Get sent to Pound Town. Alright, you're getting sent to Pound Town. 1 Pound Town, 2 Pound Town, 3 Pound Town, 4 5 Pound Town, 6 Pound Town, 7 Pound Towns more.
Like, why, Nova? Why do you need to say it like that? I would imagine that Nova thinks he's taking down the trolls, and he's super funny when he says that, but generally, it's just kind of creepy. It is a goofy saying, like, I'll give him that, but with the context it's in and said by him, it just gives a creepy vibe to it. There's also 2 things specifically that I wanted to talk about within that TikTok. One was the weird-ass song that he made out of saying Pound Town towards the end of the clip. Like, I don't know what possessed him to make a little jingle out of saying Pound Town, but I just wanted to leave it in there to see what y'all's perspective is on it. And the second thing was the fucking train horn in the back, and I thought it was so funny, and I could be making something out of literally nothing, but I found it quite goofy. Like, here comes the train, ready to send all the chatters to Pound Town, here comes the Nova train, I don't know, I thought it was funny. Now, a little segue into something that I think is still kind of on topic for Nova falling back into his old ways, but there is an argument that he never really stopped doing this, but it's his horrible money management and spending habits. In the past, we've seen Nova spend countless amounts of money on dumb toys and weird water bottle gadget like flavor enhancers to prevent him from drinking actual water and give him like a taste of strawberry or some stupid shit like that, to spending copious amounts on DoorDash and fast food. Now, Nova's left the water bottle gadgets and toys behind, but he's also moved on to a way more expensive hobby, which is Pokemon cards. This dude is buying so many packs. He recently bought a Destined Rivals ETB off of Amazon a couple days ago. He's bought a booster box of the Japanese cards that are called Heatwave, and he also bought a Scalped Prismatic surprise box.
We got an ETB with the set that I had so much luck with. Let's play. Should I open it or should I keep it sealed? We got 3 packs. Let's play. Should I open it or should I keep it sealed? A couple older Scarlet and Violet packs as well as an ETB. First time we're ever opening up a full pack of Quarter Century Stampede. Let's time to play. Should I open it or should I keep it sealed? It's the set everyone's going crazy for. And we got a surprise box. Let's play. Should I open it or should I keep it sealed?
Now, I'm sure y'all know what scalping is. Like, it's people buying things and then marking them up because there's no retail market for it. And he also bought a scalped Switch 2, so he's spending so much money on, like, cards and shit like that. But he also spent a obscene amount of money on a Switch 2 that he didn't need. Like, you don't need that. But back to the cards, like, those aren't cheap. Those are running him up hundreds of dollars. And Nova has a pretty steep rent to pay. Mama Noves requires $900 a month from Gabriel. However, in a recent video, Nova was talking about his paracords and how he didn't have to make as much anymore because his Cameo was popping off and he was getting a lot of money from that. And all I have to say to the people who are buying his Cameos, like, why are you doing that? We all know what Nova's been on the hot seat for in the past and still kind of currently, but like, why are y'all financially supporting this tub of lard? But regardless of that, Nova has been dumping money into things that he just shouldn't be dumping it into. But you know, like, it's his money, you can spend it how you want, do with what you please, but he needs to realize that building a savings and not spending an obscene amount of money on fast food and trading cards it's gonna be extremely important for him to realize that, and it'll be important for his fiscal future as well. But I doubt he'll see this perspective. I'm sure that he thinks that the Cameo money will just keep flowing in like an endless tap he can just put his sticky little fingers into whenever he wants, but I really don't ever see that being true. And each time I see a new Nova video where he's bought more Pokemon cards, I'm just praying he doesn't get a good hit. And you know, that could be professional hating, but if Nova gets that Team Rocket's Moltres before me, that's just a smack in the face from the world. Regardless of that, I just wanted to reinforce the fact that Nova still has horrible spending habits, and even though it's not the same from when he was spending money on, you know, like those water bottle stuff and like random toys and shit, it's still a waste of money. And when you're in the space that he is in and you have a rent to pay at the end of the month, it's not a good idea to go blowing all of your money that you're getting from Cameo, you're getting from your eBay shop, selling fucking paracords. It's not a good idea to just go and blow it on shiny cardboard. Now, circling back to Nova's fast food intake, you know, fast food, it's a staple for Gabe. Day to day, you know, he's constantly showing it off to his TikTok. Fast food is just a comfort for him. And I know none of us really believe that the food reviews were going away when he made that TikTok saying that he's going to be focusing on eating better and getting rid of the weight that he's put on throughout the years. I sure as hell knew that wasn't going to last. The main block of Nova's content is food reviews. And again, circling back all the way to what blew him up was the food reviewing. You know, that Wingstop video, that blessed review of those lemon pepper wings, that Dr. Pepper that gives you a 10 out of 10. And it's not because Nova's a seasoned reviewer. That's not why people are coming to watch that. When an audience sees Nova review, like, you know, that Wendy's Taki hot chicken sandwich, not every single Wendy's in America just becomes a black hole where people can't stop flooding into it because Nova just gave us the greatest review ever. People watch Nova and his food reviews because he looks and sounds goofy when he's doing it. So as y'all can see, Nova has been falling deeper and deeper into his old ways when it comes to his spending habits, his food habits, and his overall just internet persona. And I don't see this changing anytime soon. He's really cemented himself in what he does, and there doesn't seem like there's going to be any changing from him anytime soon. You know, he eats his fast food, he buys shit he doesn't need, and he rages on stream. But who knows, maybe he'll throw a curveball at us and collab with Jupiter or something like that. But besides that, thank you guys once again for tuning into another Nova breakdown. If you guys like this video, let me know down below in the comments. I appreciate the continued support, and I'll see you guys next time. Deuces.